When you get a bonus, how long does it take you to think about the next bonus? I will never be an employee anymore. We all go through it, let's be frank. People don't understand when you are choosing a business partner, it's like you're marrying. I would choose one entrepreneur who failed a lot. Every day, remember to pee. Have some me time. We all forget to take our vitamins. But do we ever forget to take our painkillers? Are you selling painkillers or vitamins? Hire slow, fire fast. I was bankrupt twice, and being bankrupt means there's no food on the table. We can't survive much. You are the average of the 5 people you interact with the most. Just take action.
Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the AI Best Business Show, the show where you'll learn about business, entrepreneurship, tech. Today I have with me Andre Abi Awad. Andre, I'm going to start this podcast in a different way today. If we were to cut the podcast short into 2 minutes, what's something you would tell the audience that they would take as a message and that would change their life?
I usually work with entrepreneurs, and to make it very brief, I say if you have an idea, don't fall in love with it. Don't fall in love with your solution. Just go and sit with your target audience. Make sure you are solving a pain. Give them the painkiller as they want it, not a vitamin, and you're going to make great business. And make sure you think marketing, because people build products and services and they don't think about marketing. Marketing is very important because you need to also work on your positioning, unfair advantage, and competitive advantage. And good luck.
I'm going to take all that and I'm going to speak about each part of it. But before that, I want to know who's Andre.
I've been in the entrepreneurship ecosystem for the past 15 years, since 2008, as a trainer in entrepreneurship. But as an entrepreneur, I was 16 years old. I started doing websites because I didn't like one day I went to work at a hotel to get some pocket money, and I didn't like it. Then I capitalized on what I love to do, and I used to code HTML using Notepad back then.
Okay.
And I sold my first website. It was actually a check with $100, and I couldn't cash it out. So I still have a photocopy of that check till today because my dad had to cash it out for me. That was when I started the entrepreneurial, let's say, virus in my brain, in my body, in my life. And then I graduated as an engineer. I worked as an engineer. Then I was promoted to be in sales because I always worked on improving myself. I had a long career, but 8 August 2014, I said I will never be an employee anymore. And since then, I started Entreprenergy, which is a large community of Arab entrepreneurs. We have more than 5,400 members in it. It started as a podcast, by the way, and we were on iTunes for 16 weeks, #1 podcast in here, the Arab region mostly. We had 270,000 unique listeners back then, 2014, 2015, from 132 countries on iTunes. And then we started doing events to connect entrepreneurs to opportunities. I had my own trainings. I work with all the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And since 2008 until now, I've trained in 54 countries, 36 out of them physically and the others online. And I currently work with entrepreneurs and I advise business owners.
Wow, I love that. When is it still a podcast? Do you still do episodes and interview founders, or have you stopped that?
We stopped the podcast in 2015 and we started doing offline events. We had panels. I interviewed so far more than 700 successful business owners in the Arab world. I'm currently interviewing 100 entrepreneurs in Lebanon because we did an event on the 25th of February 2023 where it was called 100 Entrepreneurs Gathering. I gathered 100 early stage entrepreneurs, not in the idea stage. They all have traction, they all have employees, but like in the first 3 years plus of their business. And now I'm interviewing them because we're going to launch an ebook with 100 interviews, 100 entrepreneurs, and the lessons learned from them.
Wow, I love the widespread of entrepreneurs you've met, and I think there's a lot of knowledge in meeting all these different trajectory entrepreneurs and where they are in the journey and learning from them, and you adding knowledge to them. Uh, you mentioned entrepreneurgy. Is that how you say it? Yes.
Yes.
Where did the idea spark from? Like, what
Mhm.
was happening? We're like, okay, I need to start it. Uh,
Mhm.
how did it come to life?
I was bankrupt twice starting my own business. First time I was 26, second time I was 29. And then I said, okay, this can't go forever. And being bankrupt, actually, I came from a very poor family, and I was the one who's taking care
Yeah.
of the family because no one was working other than me. And being bankrupt means there's no food on the table. So I said, there's something wrong, and I need to know what it is. Then I took Jim Rohn's quote that I really love. It says, you are the average of the 5 people you interact with the most. So I said, let's make this in practice. And I made sure to be close to 5 entrepreneurs, at least seeing, meeting, talking with one of them every week for a year until 8 August 2014. I said, I will never be an employee anymore. I wrote it online. It's still there. And I launched Entreprenergy. It's energy for entrepreneurs, because when I was bankrupt, I went into, I call it self-diagnosed depression, because I didn't go to a doctor. I didn't take pills. I didn't go through treatment. But you know, when you're sleeping all day, you have no energy, you don't do anything. And actually, the first time, the only reason I get up from my bed is when the bank called and says, you're late for the loan payment, because it was a bank loan. I lost it in 8 months. I had to repay it for 5 years.
Wow.
And I said, if I learned the mindset, the habits, the tactics, the strategies of successful business owners, I need to give it back to everyone else, especially in my community, because you cannot imitate Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg in a region, in the Arab region, in the MENA world also, and say, I'm going to be successful. It's a total different environment, total different setup, infrastructure, and everything. So that's why I started interviewing Arab entrepreneurs, and I got that mindset, habits, and tactics, and everything they taught me that I transfer to other entrepreneurs now.
Okay. If we would take these events you've done or these interviews you've done, what are 2 or 3 lessons that stood out to you, or a success story from an entrepreneur that really stood out to you, that like, okay, that's a wow, and that's something I'll never forget?
Well, talking about success stories, it's gonna be hard to define 1, 2, or even 3, because from the hundreds, I learned a lot. But let me categorize it. Once you are starting your business or you have an idea, it's very important to take action. And I always have this bracelet in my hand, just take
Just
action,
action. Wow.
because people talk, but those who take action are like a very small percentage of people will take action. So take action. And what type of actions? Anything that can get you closer to your target audience and a clarity about the problem and your business model. That's very important if you are starting. Second, when you start, make sure you have a very solid and alive business model. What do I mean by that? Make sure you understand your business model from all its perspective, and make sure it's alive, which means sometimes you have to update it daily, and sometimes you have to just review it weekly or monthly, because the market is always changing, the behavior of your customers is always changing, uh, the strategies, the channels, the relationship, the infrastructure, activities, resources, everything is changing. And I believe that one of the great mindsets I've got from amazing entrepreneurs is the power of partnerships. And when I say partnerships, it's not about those who have equity in your business, but those who are your suppliers, your third-party logistics, those who you outsource to partner with so they can take off your plate. Because once you start, most of the time people start as solopreneurs and you can't do everything alone. And it's very important to understand when is the time to start hiring, because you don't want to be to go into burnout. And we all know about the entrepreneurial burnout. Entrepreneurs, they suffer from it very silently. And I also learned that from business owners. We all go through it, let's be frank, but it's very important to be aware and have some me time, have some balance as much as you can. We know entrepreneurs, it's hard to get the balance, but
Right.
as much as you can in order not to be burned out.
I love this and I agree with this. I'm going to give an example of myself. Well, my first startup was a crowdfunding platform. I came into it, I'm like, okay, that's going to be the next Kickstarter in the Arab world. I contacted a development agency. I paid $10,000. That was, and I was 21 at this time, building the dream app I wanted to build alone. I'm like, I'm not sharing equity with anyone. 2 months, it failed. And that was a wake-up call. I'm like, okay, you're doing something wrong. This gave me a lesson. Started my next startup, e-commerce platform, a e-commerce website. I got a partner with me who's good at what I'm not good at, and we built that, and we were able to get revenue, and then we sold it. So that was a lesson for me, that always build a team, build a successful team around you. You'll get to success easier than when you take that path alone. So I love that lesson.
Mm-hmm. And to comment, Ahmed, on this one, my second bankruptcy, it was because of my partner.
Wow.
And I learned from it. I was a speaker at a Facebook event in 2019, and one lady asked me, I'm breaking up with my partner. I'm losing the business now, and I want to start another one with another partner. So what's your advice? You know, when sometimes you get creative with the answer, and I've got that answer when I said, you are starting a new business, you want to achieve victory. And this is the victory sign. At the same time, it's number 2, and it's the letter V. So whenever you are partnering with someone, you need to have the 2 V's. You need to have the same values, because whenever you have any misunderstanding, any decision, values will help you be on the same page. And you need to have the same vision, because whenever you are growing, you don't want each partner to go on a different road. You need to be aligned with your vision. And that's the most basic part of choosing a partner, because people don't understand when you are choosing a business partner, it's like you're marrying.
Yes.
And being married to someone, it's not easy to divorce when it's a business. So it's very hard.
I definitely agree. Choosing the right partner and just sitting with that partner, as you said, seeing the values you guys have and seeing what's your common goal in the future, because you may have different goal. You may want to take that startup and exit. He may want to just do $5,000-$6,000 a month and be happy with that. So if your goals are
Exactly.
not aligned, you won't get where you want to be. You spoke a lot about, okay, starting a business, take action to it. I want to take this process of when an entrepreneur or and you as meeting all these entrepreneurs and having all this knowledge, I come to you, Ahmad, I have a business idea or something. What's a framework you would give me? So to tell me, Ahmad, you're on the right path. Like, what's a framework when I'm choosing an idea that I should follow to know that this is a right idea or not?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In a very brief way, I use the 3 M's, and I always talk about them. The first M is the market. For your service and your product, do you have enough people who are looking for it? Do you have the market? Do you know the market size? And when we're talking about market, it's not only about knowing if there are people interested in this product or service. It's, do you know the channels to reach these people? From awareness to acquisition and return path and everything. If you don't know how to reach them, how are you going to sell your product and service? That's also in the market. Also in the market, Are you selling painkillers or vitamins? We all forget to take our vitamins. I just remembered that myself today, I forgot to take my vitamin. But do we ever forget to take our painkillers?
No.
No. And it's not about selling a product that people will die if they don't buy it. It's about positioning your product as a painkiller for a certain need or a certain want that they are looking for. And I give an example. Those who are buying the GoPro, for example, it's not because it's the best camera. And we all know that there are many better cameras than the GoPro in the market. But GoPro positioned themselves that when you have a GoPro, you look adventurous. And Louis Vuitton bags. Do you really want to buy a $10,000+ bag? You can have any bag, but there's a social status that people want to maintain, and it's about self-expression, and self-expression is a need. Also, an Apple product, watch, iPhone, everything, Mac. People are getting these products. It's not because they will die if they are not getting it, but this brand positioned this product in a way that caters to a very specific target audience and solves, let's call it, a pain for them. That's
okay.
in the market.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's in the market. Two, it's margin, which is profit margin. Did you do the right study to know that your costs and your revenue will make your business sustainable, which means will your revenue be more than your cost in order for yourself to have this profit margin that will sustain your business? Because many people, they fall in love with the business. They don't do the feasibility study nor the financial study, and they are losing money while operating the business. That's the second M. And the third M, actually, we should always start with it, but I end with it because it has a very important point, which is me. The third M, my lifestyle. Does this business fit my lifestyle? I have many examples and stories about that, but I'll give a very simple example that happened with one in one of my workshops, and I'll make it very short. So a girl was starting a coffee shop tailored for students. She saw that concept in London and she wanted to duplicate it in Lebanon. She got a design. Every week I asked them, what have you done to move towards your goal? So she got a designer, she got a consultant FNB, and he wanted to be her partner. She met suppliers with very good pricing. She found a venue. Her father saw her enthusiasm. He wanted to inject $50,000 to help her. She started the design. She showed us the brand identity. She got many things. And then I said, what have you done so far? What have you done this week to move towards your goal? And she said, I'm going to stop.
Wow.
We're like, you have everything. He said, yeah, when I met with Samer, the FNB consultant, he told me this week that whenever we open the business, I should be from the moment we open the doors to the moment we close the doors. But I'm starting a business in order to generate revenue and travel the world. So just imagine. It doesn't fit the lifestyle. And other businesses, like one of the business I was partner with, but I was not an active partner. The guy had a new child and a daughter. And after 4 months, he came to us. He said, look, guys, none of you want to stay in the business. And every night, the time I want to play with my daughter, feed her, take her to sleep, I'm sitting in the business. I don't want my daughter to grow without me. So we have to sell the business. And it was profitable. We had the market, we had the margin, but the lifestyle, the me, was not there. So mainly assess yourself on the 3 M's, and then you take other steps to grow and start the business.
I like the me part. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to it or mention it, but I think it's one of the most important parts when you go into a business. Decide what type of business you want to get into and what the lifestyle you want to live out of this business. we got to a place where, okay, now you gave me the three me's. I assessed them. I did my feasibility study. I started that business. I have my co-founder, which I chose depending on value and where we align together. We started this business. I come back to you. I'm like, after 3 months, I'm like, Andre, my marketing isn't working. What can I do? What marketing channels can I look for? How can I approach the market? Like, what are marketing tips you would give for me to attain a customer and keep that customer so I don't lose that customer? How can I retain that customer after I marketed to him and got him to be my customer at this startup?
For me, there is no one answer to this question, because one of my companies that I've sold last year was in digital marketing, and we used to do lead acquisition for SaaS companies. That was very specific service. If you tell me what's the marketing strategy for a SaaS company, what's the marketing strategy for a restaurant, what's the marketing strategy for a tourism company, I would say we can't apply the same to all of them. But what I believe, and I always say it, and I've said it like maybe 5 times so far in this interview, you need to be close to your target customers and understand where they search for such a product or such a service.
Okay.
How do they take the decision? Is it influenced by others or is it themselves? How do they assess this? We know the KLT. People, they need to know you, like you, trust you in order to buy from you. So you can't do all of these 3 in one interaction. You need to add value, establish the relationship, and then ask for the sale. I call this every day remember to PEA, provide value, establish relationship, and then ask. And this happens in networking. I use it in networking, and I also use it in sales, because people will not buy from someone they don't trust. And we're not talking about commodities here. We're just talking about like a real business, maybe B2B business. You need to understand your customer behavior, your customer journey. And one tip, please dissect and re-engineer the customer journey. I rarely see entrepreneurs talking about the customer journey, which is seriously, the customer journey is like every interaction with your business. And it goes on social media, it goes on the email, it goes on the website, it goes on the maybe SMS, WhatsApp, people, what marketing material you are using, billboards, anything. The customer journey, how they are talking to you, communicating with your team and everything. This is very important, and you need to cater for your target customers. You can see now, like McDonald's, they introduced like a couple of years ago, not now, they introduced screens in their outlets, because the new generation, they don't want to interact with people. They just want to go into McDonald's, order on a screen, take their order, and just go sit. They knew how to adapt to their customer segment. So in marketing, I love marketing, by the way. And I tell you, people don't understand marketing. When they put a post on social media and they boost it, they say, I did marketing. This is not marketing. This is a simple promotion. That's it. Marketing is a strategy. When you think about advertising, promotion, public relations, sales, and now like everything, and you plan it, that's the marketing. It's not like putting a post and just posting and boosting it. This is not marketing.
I have a funny story here. Before that crowdfunding platform during COVID, I started a dropshipping clothing brand. And I went out, designed perfect designs. I went out, I took pictures of myself wearing them. I got fashion models, took pictures. And I knew nothing about entrepreneurship or marketing or like Facebook ad, customer segmentations, who's your market. There was even a show on Netflix, Selling Sunset, where I was able to get with the actors on the show and got them to wear my masks. But all I did is take these pictures, put them on the Instagram page. I had an Etsy website, and then I started boosting them. and I couldn't sell because that's not what marketing is. And it's a failure after failure, where this failure helped me learn what marketing is. So when I came to my next e-commerce website, I knew what ads are. I knew how to use TikTok. I knew how to get customer interactions. I knew how to do the customer journey, and I was successful with it. So I you're very relatable to anyone that's hearing us, because every entrepreneur who's starting a business, his first business looks like, I don't know anything, and then you start moving on and progressing and learning more.
And
Andre,
never discount the branding aspect also.
yes,
Yeah, branding. They think that when they create a logo, that's a branding.
it's not.
Okay, that's another subject. Yes.
Okay, and now I figured out my marketing. I continued building. I came back after 4 or 5 months. I'm like, Andre, my team isn't motivated. I can't
Mm.
motivate my team. How can I motivate my team?
You know, many different ways to motivate the team. Yet one of the ways that I really love is writing appreciation letters, very specific appreciation letters. And I'm talking about small businesses, like up to, let's say, 12, 20 employees, not like corporates of 100 and 1,000 entrepreneurs. Maybe at that time, every manager or every senior would do it for their team. But basically, when we're starting and you're saying after 5 months or a year, most probably you're not more than 10, 20 employees. And when I say writing appreciation letters, it's handwriting, not typing and printing, handwriting. And it worked wonders for me. I even know that most of my employees, they had it in their bedroom, like on a board, in
Wow.
their diaries, and they showed it to me, and it was like a source of motivation to all of them. That's one. Before I go to the very important lesson, each individual is motivated in a different way. And you cannot apply motivation to all your team members in the same way. Only the appreciation letter is very important, and I say do it for everyone. But everything else, it depends on your team members. And that's why you need to also be close to them, not to mix business and personal, but to understand who is your team. Like, you need to know with each individual what motivates them. Some people are motivated by continuous development. Some people are motivated by a title. By the way, in my company, I don't care about titles. I tell them you can even use CEO. No one uses it, but you can even use CEO. I don't care. If you're happy using it, just use it. So continuous development, sometimes the title. Many times people think that money is a source of motivation, but I know, and I always test my assumption. When you get a bonus, how long does it take you to think about the next bonus?
The moment
Instantly.
after, right, the moment after you get paid. Yes.
Instantly,
Okay.
like directly.
Yes.
Maybe when you reach home, you think, okay, so I got two
This is,
salaries today. I think maybe next time they should give me 2.5. You're thinking about the next one. So understand each of your team members, what motivates them. That's in a very specific way to each member. Also in the culture, and here I know that most people, and especially at the early stage, entrepreneurs don't take care of building a culture in the business. Building the culture, of course, it's a wide topic. It takes time, but also when you understand your values and you hire based on your values, you have better culture and you have better coherent team, and they will help you. In addition, I have one sentence that I always have in mind, and I say it to entrepreneurs: hire slow, fire fast. And hiring slow means, even if you are a startup, even if it's the first employee, have at least 3 interviews. Of course, each interview has different ways of tackling it, different things to discover in the person, but hire slow, fire fast. And if you can try them in a project, for example, now I'm hiring a copywriter and I'm hiring a video editor. I gave them like one piece of content for both of them, actually for 4, like 2 editors and 2 copywriters after interviewing them. Now we're waiting for the result. And based on that result, after my team member, the business development manager, interviewed them and I interviewed them, now the test, we will see who to hire. So hire slow and fire fast, and create a culture based on your values, and know each one how they get motivated. Write appreciation letters, and you have a better business and team.
I love the appreciation letter. I work at a company here, and we're almost 200, 300 employees, and the CEO still writes a happy birthday letter,
Wow,
handwritten
amazing.
for each employee. So yes, I got it last year on my birthday. I'm like, wow, he knows when my
Wow.
birthday is, and that left an effect in me. So I motivated my team. I have everything perfect 5, 6 years from now. Uh, and I come back, I give you a call. I'm like, Andre, what should success look like me? Should I exit? Should I keep my business that's profitable? What are the type of success that an entrepreneur should think of after
Mm,
4, 3, 4, 5 years of success in his business?
mm, mm, mm. Interesting question, because what entrepreneurs forget to plan for and think about is the exit strategy. And I believe the exit strategy, at least consider it. I'm not saying it will stay the same every year and after 5 years, but at least consider it before you start your business. And that's one of the lessons, by the way, I learned from my mentor, and I learned from many entrepreneurs that I've interviewed. Many of them, I'm not going to say most, because this is not common, and I hope it becomes common. Many of them, they thought about their exit strategy before starting the business, when they were planning the business. And also for exiting, there's no one answer for that. I'm an advisor for many businesses, and we're talking about multi-million-dollar, multinational businesses. And I work directly with the business owner. So I'm not a consultant working in the business. I'm an advisor working with the business owner. And I can tell you, currently with my current clients, I usually have 6 business owners at the same time. Every time I finish with someone, there's a pipeline that I onboard another person. Currently, within these 6, one of them is looking for investment to scale. They are not exiting now.
Okay.
One of them is restructuring the business in order to exit, and they already have someone who's a strategic acquirer. That's why we're working on that. One of them is growing the business. It's a holding. Now we are creating the 8th company under that holding.
Wow.
So he's not exiting. He just wants to grow a holding with many arms that are companies under that. Some people, one actually guy, is trying to make the business scalable using his management. So I expect later on he's going to be the chairperson, and the management will have a CEO and so on. So many ways of exiting. You need to consider them early on. And one important thing that happens, for example, I'm the advisor for a chairperson of a company. She's a lady. The sad thing is that when she took over the business after her father stepped out, he came back.
Okay.
And that wasn't easy. And that's why I say you need to think about the exit strategy. And when I'm working with a business owner who's leaving, who's exiting and handing over maybe second generation, maybe the management team, I tell them, please have something to do. Some of them launch NGOs, some of them go have their hobbies, Some of them relocate just to have peace of mind with their family. Anything, but please don't come back to the business and ruin everything after you've handed out the business. So many exit strategies. Some questions, Ahmad, I can't say there's one answer to them, and it's very important to be tailored to every person and what their lifestyle, the me.
Right. No, I agree with you. And we spoke about that before the podcast, that I have a newsletter about cars, and that I started at the beginning of this year. And I've seen many newsletter businesses. I've seen newsletters that have sold for $100 million and more. And we could say that the playbook is known, what you could do to succeed in a newsletter. And when I started, I'm like, okay, I could write a newsletter about cars every single day. But if I plan on exiting, I need a team, and I need to start thinking strategically, because no one is going to come and buy a business with a one person team.
That's for
So
sure.
yes.
That's
So
for sure.
what I did, I hired a writer to start with me, even if I don't
Mhm.
need them, but I hired them to start with me. They could write 3 newsletters a week. I write 3 newsletters a week. And then once we start going, I start adding to the team. So when I get to my goal after a year or two, I have a team set in place, and I'm positioning myself right to exit in the way I want. So I love this. Start thinking about it early. Identify your goal, identify your 10, and then go ahead and step on 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to that 10.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm I sold my startup, I exited, and I know you're a great connector. You have this huge network of people you've connected with, entrepreneurs you've connected with. And now I took that step back after I sold my business, and I'm successful. I have the money in the bank, and I want to build that network. What are 3 advices you'd give me to build that network?
You want to build a network of
Uh,
entrepreneurs to support them, or you want to build like
To
what, a
support
professional?
to support them, to just expand my network, support these entrepreneurs, or have a professional network around me, people I could
Mm,
go learn from, or people I could advise and give learning to.
mm. You know, the easiest way is to look for aspiring entrepreneurs who are starting in your industry, the industry where you operated earlier,
Mm.
because you're going to add a lot of value to
Okay.
these people. And mentoring entrepreneurs, like I mentor many entrepreneurs, and I love it because it's like giving back from your experience. And sometimes it's rewarding because you can see that if they do this. It happened on Thursday, like yesterday. uh, I was training a group of entrepreneurs, and I asked them, what have you done this week to move towards your goal? And I saw that 3 of them are doing a big mistake. So instead of only me giving them the advice, I directly texted 2 entrepreneurs, 2 business owners, like very established, well-established business owner. And I said, I'm in the middle of a training session on Zoom. Can you join for 10 minutes? And I had 2 business owners joining the Zoom session, and they gave the advice that I really wanted the entrepreneurs to know. But I didn't want them to take it only from me, because sometimes when you know the person, you take them for granted,
Yes.
especially when it's been a while and it's been like 2 months we're in this program. It's important to see others doing this. That's why I have a big network of business owners around me and entrepreneurs, because we all support each other. And whenever you are starting to grow a community, it's important to look into the same industry, because you're going to add value, and look into entrepreneurs who are starting, because you can give them a lot of value, even if they are not in your industry. Maybe you can mentor them, maybe you can uh, uh, I don't like guide them, because a mentor does not guide literally, but they just tell you stories, ask you questions. That's what I love about my mentors, and it will tickle your brain, it will
Right.
shift your perspective sometimes, and it will give you a lot of value. Incubators, accelerators will be looking for you because you've already exited a business, so they will support you. And if you have enough money and you would like to support more than advice, maybe join an angel investor network, because
Right.
it will also be rewarding, not only support with your journey.
I love that advice. I want to know more about you. Let's say now you drop everything you're doing and I tell you, find the problem and build a startup around it. What would that startup be?
I'll tell you about two startups that I'm doing now, I'm creating
Okay.
now. And both of them, they are very new. And I didn't launch any of them because it's like a side thing that I'm exploring. I've been training on pitching for the past 13 years.
Right.
And I've trained one-on-one entrepreneurs, like not in a group, like a one-on-one session, more than 2,700 entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And most of my training, because I get hired by accelerators and incubators and universities and entrepreneurship competitions, most of what I was training on is pitching. That's why I work closely one-on-one to create an investable pitch, like a pitch for investment, mostly. And I discover a lot that entrepreneurs, many of them, they start the business because they know the technical part. They are an engineer, a good chef, anything. They know the technical part, but in terms of management and the entrepreneurial growth and so on, they struggle in it, especially the marketing. We just mentioned the marketing earlier. And they don't know how to convey the right message about their business. That's why, based on my training about pitching, I developed my own school of pitching. It's not a school, but like it's the methodology of pitching. And based on that, I'm creating a startup now. It's called Genie Pitch, which is generating your storyline. And that's a very important tip to entrepreneurs, because they just talk about their slides and they forget to create a connected storyline. It will create your storyline from whatever input you deliver about your business, about your idea, problem, solution, market size, and so on. And it's based on AI, of course. So that's the first one. I like it. The second one is also because my earliest startup was about lead generation. The second startup is lead generation tailored to Twitter, but now we're putting it a little bit on hold because Elon Musk is changing a lot in Twitter and we're not coping. So we're waiting until like things are getting steady somehow until we do it again. But the Genie Pitch is on the road. We still have we actually tried it, the beta version, with many entrepreneurs. They loved it. And now we're fine-tuning it and we're launching it hopefully in April.
I can't wait till you launch it and we could all get to use it.
Thank you.
Seeing all these entrepreneurs around you, I'm getting to my last two questions. So seeing all these entrepreneurs around you, what's a business or who's an entrepreneur you'll bet your money on? If you had an investment fund today, you had $10 million to invest, and you're gonna invest all these $10 million in one startup or one founder, which startup or which founder would you invest in?
I would choose one entrepreneur who failed a lot.
Okay.
And I mean it, who failed a lot and who have skin in the game. Like they started their current business from their money. They bootstrap, they collected money maybe they raised money from their family and friends in order to reach the stage where they validated their business model. They are growing. They built this institution in the business and the team, and now they are raising funds. I'm gonna give them all my money.
Okay. Any specific industry, tech, restaurants, any industry
I
you
prefer,
really
and actually I have it on my planner. It's like a sticky note to keep it in mind. I prefer to invest in industries that I know about. And when I say I know about, it means that at any point, if the founders or the board got in trouble or a crisis hit the business, if I had, because you don't have to as an investor, but if I had to step in and be active in the startup, I should have at least the right people in my network to support me, or I should know a little bit about the business in order for me to maybe reinvent the strategy and make it grow again.
Okay. My last question, what's again, let's say you drop everything and you have one problem and your mission in life is going to be solving that one problem. What is that one problem you'd want to give all yourself to, and how can people help you
Wow.
solve that problem?
Wow. That's an amazing question. Never thought of it. Wow, interesting. You know, maybe I'm affected because I just watched a documentary about nature and I have a big love for nature. Maybe it's about saving nature, animals. I love animals. I have a dog also. Maybe saving nature and animals, because I believe if we keep on moving forward with all these, I'm gonna call it ignorance from some people, maybe industries and people, and we don't take care of our Mother Earth, nature, animals, environment, everything that is related to our Earth and nature, we can't survive much. So
Okay.
I believe this is one of the problems that I would love to dedicate myself to and my support to, if I have only one problem to solve.
If you were to give a call of action to someone who's listening to us to help solve that problem, what would that call to action be?
Start yourself. For
Okay.
example, I live in a country where most people don't sort their waste.
Yes.
I sort my waste. I consume responsibly, and I take care of my environment. Start with yourself.
Andre, amazing episode. I had some questions that I have planned, but how the episode went and how we started talking took us in a different way. I really felt comfortable in this chat. I really learned a lot from you. Where could people follow more of what you're doing? How could people find you more on social media or learn more or get approach you or contact you? Feel free.
Mhm. You have my name on the episode. You have my name here on the screen. People can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. I also have a newsletter on LinkedIn, The Freedom Owner. It's about piece of information that can help any entrepreneur or business owner to gain their freedom while growing the value of their business and scaling it. You can follow me on LinkedIn mostly, and I'm always active there.
Andre, thank you one more time for being here.